Welcome to Conversations with Maynell at Person County Senior Center. This is our October edition, and with me today I have Keith Duncan, Person County Fire Marshal. Thanks for coming.
Nice to be here.
Great. As you may or may not know, October is Fire Prevention Month, and I know you hear a lot about it in the schools with the children, but adults need to be reminded of fire prevention and fire safety issues as well.
That's correct.
So here at the Senior Center, we thought having our county fire marshal would be perfect for this month. So tell us, can we call you Fire Marshal Keith, Fire Marshal Duncan, or just Keith?
Keith is just fine.
All right, Keith.
Just fine.
Where is the fire marshal's office located?
We're located on the first floor of the admin building at 304 South Morgan Street. We're on the same floor as the ag people, forestry, soil and water, that same floor. Above us is county administration, like the county manager and finance. So
and the fire marshal's office is part of the county government, correct?
It is part of county government, and there are fire marshals in every county throughout the state.
Great, thank you. So here's the question.
Yes,
what do fire marshals do?
Mainly we're responsible for the safety of employees and customers of all commercial businesses. Once, I know you're familiar with getting building permits to build a building.
Right.
And they inspect that to make sure it's safe. But they stop there. That's where I take over.
Okay.
All county, well, I shouldn't say county, all commercial buildings of any type, whether it's a church, a doctor's office, a Walmart, whatever the public uses, are inspected on a schedule, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 year schedule.
Right.
So we go in, we have a code book that's about that thick, it seems like, of different safety codes, and we enforce those to try to get the owners or occupants to adhere to the code and make it safe for all of us. And it's not just for, it's for them also.
Yeah, exactly. I know we get inspected.
That's correct.
We make sure that our fire extinguishers, there you go. Our fire extinguishers are up to date and serviced annually.
Yes,
I know our staff will walk through because things get pushed in front of doors or underneath the circuit box, so we're constantly moving things around to make sure that doesn't happen. But it is important. We do fire drills on a quarterly basis here, and I'm thinking it's time to have you or Lisa come by and actually pull the alarm. Because we try to do one of those a year just because the actual alarm is pretty loud.
Yeah,
you get used to it.
Sort of a continuation from being in school.
Exactly.
We all did them in school. It's good to practice.
Right.
Practice makes perfect.
And people should do that in their home as well, right? Absolutely,
they should. And especially have that meeting place outside. It's most important that nobody go back inside on a fire. But you want to know your loved ones are safe. So if you have that one particular place to go and to stay there, that's what we try to see about.
And if you're ever at the senior center and you hear the fire alarm or we tell you to get out, we all meet across the parking lot in the grass.
There you go.
We're out of the way of the fire trucks. Well, great. Let me see. So this month, the theme for the Fire Prevention Safety Month is Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety. What are they talking about when they say that?
Mainly talking about carbon monoxide and smoke detectors in your home. Making sure you know what those noises are. They are geared to wake you up. That's the main function that we have them. There is some misconceptions that you should have one everywhere in your house, and that's not particularly true. It's not to say you can't, but you really don't need one in the bathroom. You really don't need one in the kitchen or a laundry room. Those are places that normally you're not going to sleep.
Right.
So if you have a good comfy couch or a chair in the living room or a den, even a shed outside, you might have a room just for a getaway.
Right.
Make sure you have a smoke detector wherever you may nap, or, you know, take a siesta sometime so that it'll wake you up.
That's a good
when
idea
you're out.
when you're having that accidental nap while watching TV or something.
Exactly. I do
Right.
that often.
I think we all do. So thank you. So we did ask around this week to see if we had any questions from folks who come here regarding fire prevention and safety, and they all seem to be centered around the same things. So we had one question, or actually several, and they were different amounts, but how long does a smoke detector last? Are we supposed to get new ones every 10 years? That was a big question. They had all different, you know, every year,
Very
6
good
years.
question. We're kinda in a transition phase where smoke detector batteries have gotten a lot better. In the past, and you still may have some of that type, used a 9-volt battery like you may find in a toy. We asked people to change them every time that the time change
Right.
or whatever you decide is the best way to remember it. And change those batteries so they're fresh and work good.
Okay,
Today's smoke detectors use a 10-year lithium battery. You don't change them, they're sealed up inside, and the companies that manufacture those, whether they were the old type or this new type, recommend changing it every 10 years.
okay, so that's where that came from.
Yes, ma'am.
Well,
And it's
that's-
only because the part in there that detects smoke does wear out over
Right.
time, so.
Well, that's pretty good every 10 years.
Mhm.
And that'll relate to another question we have down here too. I'll just skip to that one.
Okay.
She says, evidently she has the older type of one, you know, where about once a year it goes chirp, chirp.
Correct.
I'm scared to stand on a step stool. Is there anyone who can help people like me put new batteries in the smoke detectors? Like, do the fire departments do that?
Okay. That chirp is one of those sounds that we're talking about. It's a reminder that your battery is getting weak and it needs replacing, and it's
Okay.
very irritating, and it's supposed to be.
Right.
It's supposed to make you want to change that battery. And often people will undo the battery to get rid of the chirp, and please do not do that. Just go ahead and replace that battery. As far as help, any fire department would be more than happy to come to your house if requested and
Okay.
put one up. The fire marshal's office is the same way. It may be easier to contact my office since I work daytimes, and a lot of the volunteers are off working their regular jobs and they do it at night. But please call by all means.
I mean, it's a good question because particularly with older adults, don't need to be whipping the chair out, probably I don't either, but.
Correct.
And standing on a chair to change a battery, we'd rather you get some help than have to call for help.
You can find the numbers for any of the fire departments on the computer, or
Right.
call 911 if you have to. We want you to have that smoke detector operating. And if you can't afford one, we have free ones for you. So you won't even have to go out and buy one. So just make sure you have one, and we'll make sure it gets up for you.
All right, so the next two questions are similar. First one says, this lady's smoke detector doesn't work, and she wanted to know, isn't my landlord supposed to fix it?
In the fire code, landlords are supposed to supply any renters with a working smoke detector. If it does not work, you should contact him or her personally to get that replaced or
Right.
get it back into working condition. Whatever be the case, what I will say, time is of the essence. I wouldn't go, if it didn't work and I called and he couldn't come that day, call me.
Okay.
Call the fire department and let's get that smoke detector up. We'll worry about who should take care of it later. We don't want you to sleep one night without one working.
Right, and it's really easy. It's one of those things you don't notice until you don't have it or it goes off, so you're exactly right. The other one was, my landlord says I have to get a carbon monoxide detector myself if I want one. He says we have gas heat. Do I need to get one, and if so, where's the best place to get one?
Okay. Carbon monoxide detectors, detects carbon monoxide is a byproduct of anything that's carbon based, such as fuel oil, wood that we burn,
Right.
gas, natural gas, propane gas, can emit carbon monoxide into the house. He is right, is not a requirement,
Okay.
that a landlord purchase a carbon monoxide detector for you. I will say it's a matter of choice. If you have, I will say a couple of things to look at. If you have older heating equipment in your house, you don't have it serviced as often as maybe you should, it may be worth getting one and just follow the manufacturer's suggestions on where to put them up. The thing about carbon monoxide detectors, normally they plug into a socket right in your wall, and they run off the house current, and they also have a battery backup. And when that battery goes bad, it'll chirp again, and you replace that battery. But if you have it plugged in and your lights don't go out for some reason, it'll work off the house current.
Right. And of course, reminds me of something. I know we had quite a doozy of an ice storm last year, and it's probably a good time to remind people, if your power goes out, don't bring your grill inside.
Absolutely.
What are some other common mistakes people make during a power outage?
Well, that's a big one there. People love to eat, me included, and they will bring grills or even propane grills in the house.
Right.
And there's no difference in the amount of carbon monoxide they put off. One's a lot more smoky, but propane grills in a home is a big no-no.
Right. Everyone's using those cast iron Blackstone ones now, especially the tabletop ones.
Oh yes. As far as other things, as safety wise, be careful about driving, of course. Getting around. Falls are a big thing with seniors, and I'm getting that age too. I fell working in my shop the other day, and I just had to lay there for a little while. I could not get right back up.
We understand about that here at the
It's
senior
tough,
center.
and so try to minimize falls around the house. When you have something slick, put salt down. Call for help. People are willing to help. I love helping people, up in ages. Like myself again, I'm getting there, and but
we
I
all
love
aspire
helping
to be seniors.
Yes, that's true.
We definitely do. Well, we thank you so much for coming by and giving us these reminders and tips and explaining what the fire marshal is. When I sort of asked around the senior center, and they were like, "Oh, what's a fire marshal?" And I think they just thought that it was all commercial, but it's not just all commercial. You're sort of coordinating all the efforts within the county. Is that correct?
That's true. Part of my job is inspecting businesses. We don't go into homes unless invited. We are only in the commercial business. But if you invite us, want just a safety checkup, no charge, we'll come in there, take a look, check your detectors, see if anything we can make a suggestion that you could do. And like I said, it's worthwhile, it's free. Other things we do in our office is public education, such as this.
Right.
Trying to get the word out to the public, remind the public. We go into schools, we will help businesses. We do fire extinguisher training, fire alarm installation, and a list of other things you can find on our website from Person County.
Well, it sounds like we might have Fire Marshal Duncan back to
glad
do some
to.
more education on especially things like smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, and fire extinguishers, and get a little more specific. But for now, we thank you so much for coming.
It was great being here.
We hope we've answered some of your questions. We hope you learned something. Remember, the Fire Marshal's office is part of the county government. They are located on the first floor of the Person County office building. That's for all you grandparents that go watch soccer games. That's across from Huck-Sansbury.
That's correct.
And I assume it's normal business hours for the county?
Yes, ma'am. I'm 8 to 5.
Okay.
But you can always call after hours. My numbers are posted on the website, and I'll take a call anytime.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And don't forget,
Glad to be here.
go by and see him if you just want to say hello and say thank you for what he does for the folks in our county. We really appreciate it.
I love to answer questions and help people out.
Great. Thank you.
Mhm.